Welcome back. Today on Dialed In DIY, I have a project that's not only a useful tool, it can be just downright fun. The magnetic pens you see here are not only very easy to make, but I actually made all of mine for free using salvaged parts. As we work our way through this video together, I'm not only going to show you several different ways to make these, I'll show you some fantastic ways that I've used them, convenient ways to store them, and some things to do just for fun. You don't need a lot to make these, just start grabbing some pens and markers and some old magnets and get ready to start. For example number one, I'm taking a metal tipped pen and I'm removing all of the inner contents and grabbing two small neodymium magnets that I took from the shell of an old mouse that no longer works. I took those magnets, put them on the end of the spring, put the spring back in the pen, put the pen back together, and lo and behold, we've got a great little tool for picking up little metal pieces. Great for these kind of little screws. But we can move on to example 2 in just a second, and I'll show you how you can pick up some bigger things as we work on through the video. You may be thinking this sounds great, but I'd like to actually keep the function of the pen. Well, let's grab a marker, or in this case I'm using a highlighter, and take the end cap off. With that done, you can actually fit a small neodymium magnet in the end of the end cap, and then put a little piece of tape over it to protect it. Put everything back together, and you still have all the contents of your marker in place. It'll work both as the tool and as a marker. Look at this, it picks up some pretty good sized stuff. Just because I do like variety and trying out some different approaches to the same projects, I'm going to move on to example number 3, and we're going to make a side magnet mount for this particular pen and tool. In the inset picture, you'll see the 3 neodymium magnets inside another mouse that was no longer working. I took 2 of those out, stuck them end to end, put them back on the spring, and put them inside of the tip part of this pen, pushed it down just a little bit, put the barrel back on the pen, and lo and behold, we've got a great section along the side that will pick up quite a lot of stuff. Okay, perhaps you're thinking, well, I don't really have a pen I want to use a pencil. Well, let's grab this mechanical pencil and take another approach, because we're going to leave this mechanical pencil in full working functional order as well. As you see in the inset picture, I took an earpiece, opened up the speaker inside, and grabbed this little donut magnet and put it on a T-pin. It works great for this project. Just twist the eraser out a little bit, push it all the way down in, and then twist your eraser back down, and you've got a magnet right at the end of your little mechanical pencil here that's perfect for picking up a lot of stuff. This particular example was the only one with the magnets on the outside, and that's because, like in this next example, I like to keep them on the inside of the pens because that protects the magnet and makes it last a little bit longer. In this case, we're using a double-ended marker, opening it up, and I'm taking this old round magnet that I actually took out of some old packing materials. It was a promotional piece that came in the mail that had a magnet on the inside to hold a flap shut. I'm just going to wrap the magnet up a little bit to protect it, shove it down in the end of the cap, and then I can put the cap back on, and that way if the magnet touches the marker end, it's not really going to be damaging the magnet in any way, and we can use it to pick up some pretty good sized stuff, or these little metal bearings. It actually holds on quite well, as you can see. Sometimes you may just find that you need a little bit more attraction out of your magnet pen, so we're going to add some more power to this particular one, and we're going to start by removing that felt tip out of the fat end of the marker. I'm just grabbing a paper towel and pulling, and you can see that the cartridge that's on the inside is still held securely in place and nothing will leak out. This gives me enough room where I can take the old magnet back out, add another magnet to it, push it down in there, and the cap can go back on. It wouldn't have been able to fit with this much magnet inside if I'd left that tip of the marker in place. Now that you've built yourself some nice little tools, it's important to keep them somewhere convenient so that they're ready to use when you want to. The great news is you can attach them to any metal surface and they'll be right where you need them when you come back the next time. As you see on my toolbox, I've set them on top, I've set them inside a lid. You can hang them on something that's hanging along the side, stick them up underneath something else that's metal to hang them like I did on the front of the toolbox, or you can stick them on a refrigerator, a whiteboard, a shelf, anywhere you have an exposed screw or nail, just about anything you actually want to keep them handy for. If you haven't already asked yourself, well, I'll ask for you. Why would you even want to make one of these? Well, it's because a lot of times there's things that you want to pick up that are hard to pick up by hand. Anything that's sharp like these are nice to be able to pick up easily with something that you're not going to get stuck with. Or maybe you just have a lot of something stuck in a hard to reach place. Any one of these devices can reach easily under a couch, under a table, or in a little crevice of a build that you're working on where you want to pull something back out like a screw that you dropped. Maybe even more problematic, what about deep carpet? I've had a lot of times where I've dropped things on deep carpet and it's harder to pick them up, but with a magnet you get them quick and clean, and because it's inside the pen, you just slide your hand down the end and they come right back off and you can put them back in the container where you can keep them safe and secure for your next project. It's also great because if it's dark or just in an area where it's hard to see, you can just stick the little tool down inside and grab whatever you dropped. Perhaps it's a needle on a carpet or a needle somewhere else like a sewing needle. It's nice to be able to find them easily where you can pick them up and not get them stuck in a foot. I also love using them when I'm taking things apart for a salvage project because just like here, I can take the screw out, toss it in the direction of the magnet pen, and they are stuck in place, and I don't have to worry about where they are no matter what I do, even if I bump my tray or my work area and knock everything flying across the table. These tools are also perfect for projects where you're working on items that have metallic component to them that may be like a clasp, a button, a bead, a tool of some kind, or a needle. You can stick them here just as well, and look, if you throw this around or drop it around, your parts stay in place and you know where they are when you come back for them. Here's some extra fun I came across months ago when I was working on another project where I was grinding down some metal. Had a lot of little metal shavings like this that came out. I collected them with a magnet pen just like this and put them in this container. You can actually see it's fun to play with because you get some really unique ferrous liquid kind of action out of this, much like a ferrofluid. But this time it's totally dry. But before you try this, I want to show you a nice little tip that I came across that helps make it easier to clean up and separate the little parts from the magnet when you're done. Wrap your pen in paper, hold that over the magnet material, or as in this case the metal shavings, and they will stick to the paper. Then all you have to do is let the paper expand back out, separate the magnet from the paper, and the parts will drop into the container where you want to store them. There are plenty of other fun and useful things you can do with these devices, so if you make your own and come up with some new ways to use them, leave me a message in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more dialed-in DIY to come.